QT Cristiano Ronaldo. Still Cristiano Ronaldo. Still Cristiano Ronaldo. What a goal! What a tremendous strike! And I don't think we need to question the Portuguese star if he can do that more often. And that is what Real Madrid are dependent on.
In the name of Allah. Hello dear friends, welcome to this tutorial. Which video do you want to this tutorial? In fact, we need to implement project structure. The first we need editors. It is desired. For example, my love IntelliJ idea. You love PHP Storm or Notepad++. It is the desire. The first IntelliJ idea editors in my choose. Let's go to IntelliJ idea. For example, welcome, create new project, and create name project. For example, WP Digital Store, and create. Okay, it's good. The first create folders. For example, new folder, new directory, assets. Asset all of the objects in assets, for example image, for example fonts, for example JS. Assets is create, and in assets new directory, CSS, and new directory in assets, fonts, and new directory and images, and create directory JS in time we need. Okay, assets. Now in new file, HTML file, for example index, we need, okay, for example title digital store, and you need body, for example hello, the first. Okay, now we need run this index HTML because we need to run index HTML to local. The first use wamp server, for example 3.2.0, and create virtual host management. For create virtual host, we need to go to, for example, this PC address, create wamp. For example, after setup wamp, in structure, in address, drive, for example setup in drive C, and use cwamp 34, and go to wamp directory, and go to bin folder and Apache folder, and go to conf folder and extra folder, and vcw httpd vhost.conf, and click right edit with Node++, and you see all of the virtual host in my local computer. For example, virtual host, and copy virtual host, Control D, For example, WP digital store. Okay, copy digital store. Document root cs dot c:/ workspace web and network. Okay, WP digital store directory digital store. Where is WP digital store? In workspace where, for example, drive C and workspace and web. Okay, and WP digital store. Okay, assets creates we create CSS font images in JS and index HTML. Okay, and okay, save HTTP host and come back. We need in the Windows system, for example, is run and percent windir and okay, and go to Windows directory and go to system 32 directory and go to drivers directory and etc or etc directory and go to host test and extra edit notepad and all of the local host in my local host, my PC, and added, for example, WP digital store. For example, WP digital store dot local and save. Yes. Okay, it's good. And go to WM restart all services. Okay, it's good. And refresh and go to WP dollar underline digital store. WP digital store dot local. Okay, it's good. And you see hello in index.html, for example, hello tree, and check. Okay, hello tree. It's good. Now create CSS file. For example, before say about CSS file, we need about less and says and the first search how to use less in IntelliJ IDEA. For example, you know SAS or less and SCSS in IntelliJ JetBrains. It's good compiler plugin in IntelliJ IDEA. You know about SAS and less and CSS we can use, for example, and go to create file watcher, for example, configure syntax highlight, and it is installing SAS or SCSL or installing less. npm install. The first you can install node.js and npm page and npm install global.less. Okay, and compile your code into CSS. Create file watcher, for example, file settings and editor, tools, file watchers. Okay, add less. Okay, and UI compressor CSS. Okay, it's good. Also we need UI compressor CSS. For example, search Google UI compressor CSS and enter, for example, and explain about UI compressor. Now continue. So file watcher settings. Okay, tool file watcher, use less and UI compressor CSS. Okay, the test, for example, CSS, the next new style share less file style. Okay, for example, and in the index HTML, add link rel style sheet and href, for example, address style.less in assets directory and css and style.less. okay, style.less, for example, body background 000. Now you see a style.css and a style.min.css. After finish project, enough style min.css on online project, and we don't need a style.less on the online project. Now refresh. Okay, it's good. The first need general comments. We need add css, for example, style sheet less file base, for example, base.less, and we need body, for example. We need all of general comments and add it into this body. For example, line height number 1, line height 1, and font family, for example, the first font family not defined for this project, and added font family. How do added font family? Go to Google search and search, for example, Roboto web font download. Roboto web font, it's my love. You love and all of the fonts, and don't desire, for example, for you, and don't have to Roboto web font. For example, Robot web font download, and you see font google.com now loading, and Roboto designed by Christian Robertson, and select style, and you see about, for example, Roboto designer and license, and it's good pairing. For example, Roboto regular thin, for example, you test, or thin italic, and for example, bold italic, for example, and open sans, for example, bold, and change it, and you test about this popular pairing with Roboto, and go to down to web font square, and go to website font SQL Roboto. We need to web font kit. Okay, for example, web font kit choose font format WoW and TF and EOT and SVG, and download font face kit. Okay, and show folder. Okay, it extract files. Now you see how to use web font HTML. For example, Roboto Black and Roboto Black Italic and Roboto Black, for example, light. Just choose, for example, Roboto Black my love. For example, go to Roboto Black directory and go to Roboto Black demo. Double click. Now you see Roboto Black and sample layout, for example, you see, and installing web font. Upload your web font on your project and include web font face, for example, and callback style sheet, for example, UTF-8, and font family, for example, my web font Arial and Sans. Modify your own style sheet and test. Now font face is copy the first Roboto Black web font, TTF, SVG, EOT, and WOF. Control C and in project fonts and paste. Okay, Roboto Black, and we need to CSS new file, for example, style-less font. Okay, font.less, and added Roboto copy in W fonts. Okay, address is gone. Address, assets and CSS, and no CSS, no assets in fonts. It's not good name. Okay, web font and Roboto Black, and copy, rename Roboto Black UT. Okay, it's good address. Okay, Control V, and copy fonts, Alt Shift. Okay, Control V. Okay, address is good. My web font Roboto Black. Now it's base.less font family and Roboto Black. Okay, it's good. Continue. For example, font size 13px. Okay, and color background, for example, F0, FA, and color, for example, generally comments number 444, and overflow hidden. Now li list style noun. Okay, and ol line height 20px, and h1 to h6 padding, h1 and h2 and h3 and h4 and h5 and h6 padding 5px, top down 5px, left right 0, and img max width 100%, and a transition for all of the Explorer WebKit, for example, WebKit transition. Okay, copy, Control V, WebKit transition, and Mozilla, Moz, and Opera O. Okay, and A, the hover, text decoration. Now, okay, it's good. Now refresh and test. And background, for example, F0, FA, and not run2, because we don't use style.less. In text HTML, it says style.less callback. Okay, now import, for example, base.less. Okay, and refresh. Okay, it's good, and change it background. Now added bootstrap, for example, and close SAS. Okay, UI bootstrap. Okay, and go to last, currently version 5, version 4, and all release, and go to, for example, all release, and we use, for example, version 4, and quick start bundle separate, and download version 4, for example, and go to shift the folder, extract files. Okay, bootstrap, and you use, we need to bootstrap CSS and copy in CSS paste. Okay, and go to body is delete. Okay, body we don't need, and go to bootstrap JS, just bootstrap bundle JS, copy, and in JS paste. Okay, also in JS we need JavaScript, for example, index.js. we need index inter.js. Okay, it's good. Other, we need to font awesome, we need font awesome. Okay, and go to font awesome, last version 6, and after down website you see old version 4.7, and get started. Okay, no, just stick with font awesome 4, and download. Okay, download. Okay, showing folder and extract stack font awesome. Let's go font awesome. Okay, just CSS font awesome, copy. Okay, in project CSS and paste, and change suffix to less, refactor is okay, and copy web font, okay, copy in address, font awesome, paste. Okay, refactor, its address is good. Okay, In the style.list, after base.list, import font awesome, import font awesome dot less. Okay, it's good. Now all of the general commands we need added to source project. After added bootstrap.css and end of bootstrap.css. Okay, before style.list. Okay, that's good. It's finished. All of the general commands we need for project added to in this project. Next clip and go to continue source code and continue all of the source in project. Thank you very much for this clip and goodbye.